Good day to you and welcome back to the podcast, Catch It, A New Perception. My name is Katuk. Thinking about how we move forward and some of the things that we've always been told and some of the things that we believe. And I think through my perception, the things that we've been told within a society, within maybe a spiritual belief that we were gifted when we were young, and everyone around us believed that, we heard it and it became real. Does it mean it's the truth? I say that because I remember being gifted a book decades ago. And there's a line in there and then maybe even a chapter about this. And the line will strike you, I think, the first time you hear it or the first time you read it. Especially being able to delve into what it is that's being said within this read. And the line is, love is not a feeling. One of the reasons that is really interesting is because I think a lot of people in the society that I grew up in believe that love is a feeling. They associate love as a feeling. I think one of the first lines is this person begins to write about this, or you begin to read about it at this particular injunction that I was gifted this read. I think it talks about the idea of love being an action, which is not lost on me. Totally wrapping my head around the idea that love is not a feeling is a bit foreign still today. And maybe that's because of the spirituality that I was gifted as a youngster, or because of the society I grew up in most of my life or all of my life, similar societies from one to another. I just don't know that I can totally wrap my head around the fact that love isn't a feeling, because I believe that I have felt love. Now, to speak to the idea of that being a foreign concept is one thing. And then I think about it, and I think about when I have felt love is often because of the actions of another. Not necessarily just because they said it to me. And I have spoke of love a little bit throughout different episodes of this podcast, and actually with some people that were very close to me at times. And it's interesting because is it a fact that I have truly felt love the most often, maybe almost always, when there has been an action that has been taken that has allowed me to feel love. An action by another human being. Maybe an action by myself. An action that I have taken that has allowed me to feel love. So maybe it's not that love isn't a feeling. Maybe the feeling has to be able to coincide with action. So to speak of this read that I was gifted decades ago, or to speak of the way I see love, or what I've heard other people often talk about when they speak of love, when you say, oh, I really love this person, is it because of the actions that you have taken towards this person? or because of the action that that person has taken towards you. When someone is kind, it's easy to feel love. I think. To feel loved by another human being. To feel love in my heart for another human being. Because of the actions taken. I remember when I was younger and my wife and I are sitting at home and I'm speaking with someone and I'll get off the phone and I'll tell them I love them. And when my wife first heard that, and she knows I'm speaking to someone who's not direct family, per se, family of origin that we grew up with, she found that odd at one time. It kind of struck her differently. Now, she thinks nothing of it. She'll hear me say it to people. People will be with us and I'll say it to people, or I'll be on the phone and I'll say it to someone. I say it because of how I feel. I say it because of the actions that I have taken. I say it because of the actions that were taken towards me or towards a group of us. Someone acts in the way of love. I know that this is a different concept for some people. I think it's a bigger picture of what I've been talking about in this podcast over a number of seasons in this podcast, is the fact that when we take a different action, we feel different. When someone acts with disdain, when someone takes an action towards you that puts you down emotionally, mentally, physically, or anything else, it's like the opposite feeling of love. The opposite of love is how that feels. When someone has disdain or they put you down in any fashion. What about when someone holds you in a high regard? Doesn't that seem like a lovable act? What is love at this point? Is it an action? Is it a feeling? Is it neither? Is it both? I think that individually each one of us need to be able to define this for ourselves. And this is part of the object of this podcast. In each and every episode is that we define these things for ourselves. I was speaking about being prompt in a recent episode. And at the end, I said something along the lines of, if it doesn't matter to you, then don't worry about it. If you don't mind being late, then move the way you move. You know, I talk about cursing and the fact that I don't do it, and people will apologize for cursing in front of me. If that's who you are and that's how you're going to show up, then show up that way. I'm not going to hold disdain for you because of the language that you speak or because you don't show up on time. That's who you are. You're just showing the world who you are. I don't have disdain for that. Someone else may find it offensive, and someone else may find it distasteful, or someone else may find disdain and feel or think a certain way about it. I get that. I don't have the time or energy to be able to sit and talk down to someone or think down about someone for an action that they take or terminology that they use. It's just who they are. I'm going to take them at face value. Tomorrow they might show up different. Maybe from after today, they're going to show up on time every time. Well, why would I put them down or talk about the way that they used to be if that's not who they are today? And some people will believe that the intent that you have with what you do is different than what the intent is. Sometimes people will believe that there's motivation there that's not there. When you're just trying to be kind, they believe you're trying to manipulate. You're just being generous with your words and being kind of sweet, and someone thinks that you're manipulating them in some fashion. I think that it's important that we begin to see things different. We begin to hear things different. We begin to see the entire world differently. So when we begin to see the world differently and we begin to react differently, how is it that we see love? Is it an action? Or is it a feeling? The reason I continue to ask this type of question is because it's like everything else, moving forward, how you're going to see it, or you're going to see it differently, how you're going to react or not react. It's like every other episode that you ever hear is you have the option to be able to move forward with it however you choose to move forward. You get to be able to see love as an action every day for the rest of your life, starting right now. Is that when you act in a way of love, you allow someone else to feel love. When someone else takes an action towards you that's gentle and kind, generous, you feel love. Do you want to feel love? Do you want to allow other people to feel love? What is it that you want to be part of? How is it that you want to see it? What does the word love mean to you? Is there no feeling with it whatsoever? Is there no action with it whatsoever? Is it just a word? Is it just terminology? Is it just something that people say? I love you. Does it have no meaning whatsoever? For me today, it is not just a feeling. There's action with it. I do believe that it is a feeling because I have felt love. I have felt loved because of the actions of other people in my life. I have felt incredible love. So for me, it's everything at moments. I need to be able to feel it, and I need to be able to express it to others, and I need to be able to take action in my life that shows other people that I love them. And as I often say, I have much to learn about this. How often do I put it into action? Do I do it every day in my life? Do I show love in the simplest ways to people that I've never told that I love them, or they've never said it to me, and we don't necessarily realize how much we love each other, and there's a lot of kindness and gentleness and sincerity to our speech and our actions and our interactions with each other? Many ways to see it. How do you see love? What is love to you? Is it a feeling? Is it an action? Is it both? Is it neither? Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world.